I'm just looking at all the kindness. We have what I would say an extremely kind, caring, and loving community. But what we know about kindness is it's never ending. So when we talk about amplifying kindness, it's about recognizing, as I said, that innate kindness, it's in everyone. And you go, yeah, right, I don't feel very kind today. It doesn't matter, it's there, it's there. We talk about we're all created in the image and likeness of God, and God is the ultimate, eternal, universal kindness that can't be stopped unless we choose to. It's there. Some of us choose to express it. Some of us don't. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But I want to talk about the importance that kindness is. Sometimes we just say, oh, that's a kind gesture. I'm talking about the kindness that becomes part of who we are and what we do. Kindness is a choice that can change the world. It can heal us, and it can change the world. It was interesting when you started reading about the Dalai Lama, Griselda, and I'd like to thank Griselda and Aida and Dottie for these. My prayer this week was for some fresh flowers in the sanctuary. And I only told one little person, and here it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That was beautiful. In Buddhism, they have 4 main virtues: compassion, joy, equanimity, and loving kindness. And Buddhist practitioners, they pray for, they practice loving kindness first on themselves, because we know you can't give what you don't have. So they practice loving kindness on themselves, for their family and friends, for distant people that they don't know, for strangers, for their enemies, and then for all beings on the earth. And we know that when you fill yourself with that much kindness, you have to emanate it. And I'd just like to show a picture up here. Buddha has taught me a lot this week. You know how much we love our 15-month-old granddaughter, and we have this little Buddha hidden away on our patio. We never introduced her to Buddha. She didn't know Buddha was out there. And we see her going out there. It was either early in the morning because she has her jammies on, or late at night, I don't know. But she goes there and she visits Buddha, and she touches the little mala beads around his neck and puts her hands on his cheeks. No prompting. She goes back in the house, she gets her bottle, and it had a little lid on it, and she took the lid on, and she must have taken it off. She put that on his little crown on the head, and it fit perfectly. Then she's feeding him her bottle, and then she gives him a kiss. Oh my goodness. We're just all glued up against, Kirk was out there taking some pictures when he saw her, but we're glued up against the window there, because kindness brings kindness. It's like Ernest Holmes says, life is a mirror and reflects back to us what we put into it. So if we love ourselves and fill ourselves with kindness and start loving others, it's going to filter out into this world. It's like kindness twice blessed. It blesses the person giving the kindness to ourselves and others, because what we remember off the bat is the innate love and kindness within us. And we learn to accept our flaws, our imperfections, our vulnerabilities, our past mistakes, all of that list of things that make us human. Is there anybody that hasn't had some of those? Lots of them all the time, because that's our humanity expressing, and we learn to love it, but then we get to radiate it out. So if we are that stuff, if we are kind and loving and good inside, why don't we express it and live it and believe it all the time? It's because so many of us were not taught to look for kindness and love and goodness. We were taught to look for what's wrong, how we're deficient and the world is deficient, how we're suffering and others are suffering, how everything is wrong and we don't matter and it's not good enough. And we have to spend a lot of our life remembering the truth. both Buddhism and religious science, the philosophy of religious science, science of mind, says that the main cause of suffering and unhappiness is ignorance. We don't remember, we don't know, we haven't learned about the happiness that's already inside of us, the kindness that's already there and wants to be expressed. Pema Chodron, another Buddhist nun, says, we think the point of life is to pass the test, to overcome the problem. But the truth is, things don't ever get truly solved. We come up with solutions and we find answers, but in this evolutionary universe, things fall apart and come together again. That's the evolutionary cycle. So they're in that process of falling apart and coming together again. There's challenge, problems, difficulty, joy, happiness, fulfillment. There's all of it in there. But we can have one constant companion. No matter what's going on, we can be kind. We can be kind to ourselves. We can be kind to others. What do we have to do to get there? All that opening, because it's when I told you in the beginning, the word is about opening to what's already there, takes inner transformation. We have to look inward before we can touch that kindness, before we can open up, before we can become something greater. And again, Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking and your feeling and change your life. Pema Chodron said, you make the world a better place by making yourself a better person. Right now, what's one thing, just one thing, you could love more about yourself? What's one thing you could do to bestow loving kindness on yourself in this moment? Oh, our little Buddha's gone, but just to remember that we can kiss a picture of ourselves. We can kiss that, whatever it is that reminds us of kindness, and we wake it up in us right here and right now. We can do that. The important thing, compassion is what really stimulates kindness. And compassion isn't just that thing we do because we feel sorry for someone. Oh, I'm sorry for you. Compassion is when we really, really remember that we're all one in this experience, that everyone has joy and sorrow. Everyone experiences this totality of life. When we remember that compassion is recognizing our oneness, I feel your pain because I understand it. I feel your love because I know it. I feel your joy because it's around both of us. It's because we remember. Jesus said, all religions have the golden rule, but he said, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. Because, hello, it's a reciprocal universe. We want to keep this going. And he said, I am not me. I'm you, and I'm you, and I'm you, and I'm you. I'm part of everyone and everything, always. It was Meister Eckhart who said, what happens to another, whether it be a sorrow or a joy, happens to me on some level. I was talking to Barbara this morning about some of I called it wonky last week, but the wonkiness of the world right now, and we can feel it. We have to spend more time in prayer and quiet and getting ourselves balanced and put together, because there's a lot of craziness going on, and it's just what happens, just life adjusting itself and moving and growing, that coming together, falling apart, coming together. It's doing that, and we're here. But what we can do is we can center ourselves with mindfulness and presence. We can't truly be kind to ourselves or others if we aren't present in this moment. If we keep running stories of the past or telling stories about, if only, if when, the future, then everything will change. If we keep telling stories, we can't be in the present moment. The present moment is where we can see the moments of happiness. We can feel it in ourselves. So it takes mindfulness and presence. And if we can just remember, Kindness requires us to be fully present in the moment. It's an active choice. But there is always more to a situation than what we see. We only see a little piece of a story. There's always so much more all around. For us, we can say, oh, I'm fine. There's a lot more to that, right? We don't really know what that means. But there's a lot more to a story than what we see. And we can remember that. But it takes us being present. What Ernest Holmes says about kindness and happiness, he said we should live in a constant state of thanksgiving. And that's what James was singing about this morning. To look for the beauty that's everywhere. It can be disguised as something not so wonderful, but it's there. We have to have a thankful and open heart to be present to the good that's there. So what can you do? What little stress could you let go of right now? I don't know, for me, I can often see a little altar. God doesn't have an altar, but I see that. That's my manifestation. And I can put my problem and just say, God's got this. Life's got this. Good's got this. So I don't have to carry around a pressure, a worry, a concern, and pray and know that right as I speak it, the answer is happening. It's going, it's working, right then and there. And another huge piece of this is forgiveness. I know we talk about that a lot. Louise Hay used to say, forgiveness is a daily practice. Because every day something irritates us. We forget that all the irritating people and situations can teach us how to amplify our kindness. We forget that. But it's a daily practice. Who and what? Do I need to forgive myself for behaving badly today? Yeah, maybe. Do I need to forgive someone else, something else? What do I need to do? Just let it go, because it not only releases the resentment in us, but it takes that energy off someone else. Who do you need to forgive today? I want you to forgive it right. I love you, I forgive you, and I release you to your own experience. It can be ourselves. I love myself. I release that. I let it go. That's not who I am. It was just something I don't know. Who knows? We can release it right now. Do that in this moment. Because we're here to remember that we have the power. We're powerful, more powerful than we could ever imagine. We have the power to do that. So, the last thing for us to remember about kindness is the unity of life, of course, but also that kindness doesn't have to be a huge heroic act. It can be the small little things. It can be just a smile, like we say, a simple smile. It can be a listening ear. It can be putting out a hand to someone else. Kirk and I saw a little clip on the news last night where they were telling one of their good news stories. And it was a high school team. It was a cross-country team, which was very interesting because I spent a while at Laguna Hills High School yesterday in the heat at a cross-country meet. I'm still hot. God, that was too much. But anyway, we were there. Grandkids, you love them. You got to be there. But it was of a cross-country meet, and you see the intensity on these kids' faces. They just want to get to the end. And the kid in second place was almost at the finish line, and he fell. He fainted probably from the heat. And this one guy from the other team, that must have been third, ran past him, and then he went, whoa. And he turned around, and he helped him up. And one of his other teammates, who was fourth, carried him. But that wasn't the end of the story. They put him in front of him, so he came in second, even though they carried him. Those are the things that make a difference in life, those little things that you go, oh, yeah, I could be kind right now. I could do this right now. Oh, that was just, can you imagine what would happen in our world right now if we just had an outbreak of kindness, where everybody made a decision in this moment just to do some little kind things every day. You can still be bad sometimes. It's perfect. It's okay. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means you have to remember kindness. You have to choose kindness, because kindness is a choice, and it's contagious. It is. Wow. So in closing this part, and then we'll have our healing wall, I have the same thing. I closed with a quote from Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama said, "Kindness is my religion." And I think we should put together a little program to get some t-shirts that say that. Because if you read a t-shirt that says, "Kindness is my religion," I guarantee you it's going to make all of us kinder. Can't do anything but that. I'd like our healers to stand up, please, and come form a little arc right here with space. I just invite you in your hearts and minds just to say, "May I be happy. May my family be happy. May my friends be happy. May those that are hard for me be happy. May all beings be happy." In that simple knowing and understanding, we share kindness and love with ourselves and with our world.